Welcome back to the Cardano Minute. My name is Tony and I'm your host. I'll be here to answer the perennial question, what can Cardano blockchain do for me? The answer, as always, is plenty. Be sure to watch for my new videos because every couple of days I'll pick a question and give examples of how Cardano can solve a whole bunch of problems for the everyday guy. And if you don't mind, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's get started. So, the other day I get an email from Kumar Lebowski from Lakeview, and Kumar writes, "Hey Tony, lately the government has been handing out money for victims of COVID, and I'm starting to get a little concerned that inflation is going to rear its ugly head. Beside gold, do you think cryptocurrency is a good way to preserve my money?" This is a very timely question, Kumar. Before I get into the subject of crypto, let's review some basic economics. The US dollar is the undisputed top fiat currency in the world, and only one thing can cause the dollar to lose its value, and that's an increase in money supply, which results in having more dollars chasing a fixed amount of goods and services. Since September 2019, even before COVID, the Federal Reserve has pumped over $9 trillion into our economy. Estimates say in 2020 alone, the U.S. has created 22% of all U.S. dollars issued since America was founded. The United States printed more money just in June than in the first 2 centuries after its founding. Last month, the U.S. budget deficit, $864 billion, was larger than the total debt incurred from 1776 through the end of 1979. Now, when they talk about budget deficit, they're just talking about 1 year and not the total national debt, which is a really big number. Now, the US dollar has been around about 200 years, and for the bulk of that time, it was backed by gold, which was fixed at about $35 an ounce. The supply of money before 1971 could never exceed the amount of gold we held in reserve. The Fed, however, was forced to abandon the gold standard and start printing money to service the huge debt incurred by the Vietnam War. This debasement of the dollar is what caused the Arab oil embargo of the same time period, but that's a whole different story. If a currency is not backed by gold or some other hard asset, it's called fiat. No, not the car company. Fiat is Latin for trust me or something to that effect. It just means you have faith in the issuer of the currency. And let's face it, lately, that faith is starting to get a little shaky. Now, the dollar has lost considerable value since the introduction of the central bank in 1913. For instance, the cumulative rate of inflation since 1913 is around 2,600%. This means a product purchased for $1 in 1913 would cost $26 today. Proponents of precious metals and cryptocurrency believe the central bank's pumping will bolster assets like gold, Bitcoin, and especially Cardano, helping people cope with the impending gloomy economic outcome. Most Americans will be blindsided by what's going to happen. So make sure you, your family, and anyone you care about are prepared. In closing, if you choose to use cryptocurrency as a store of value, you may as well choose the one with the highest utility, such as Cardano, because let's face it, Cardano can do anything all other cryptos can do and more. Anyways, the clock on the wall tells me we're out of time, so I'll see you next time for another episode of the Cardano Minute and what could Cardano blockchain do for me.